It's nothing to do with us, say most Germans. Why should we stop and interfere? Now, in 1935, Hitler orders his experts to draw up special laws for the suppression of the Jews. By these, they are degraded as if they were lepers. In whatever trade or profession, they are stripped of almost all they possess. Many who have foreseen what is to happen have been able to flee the country. World-famous scientist Albert Einstein was one. They are the lucky ones. Many, many more remain to be persecuted or done to death. Not only the Jews are thrown into the ever-increasing number of camps, but anyone suspected of uttering a word of protest against the Nazi Party, or who dares to question the supreme authority of the all-high Führer to rule the German people. We're at Berchtesgaden, the mountain retreat that Adolf Hitler has built for himself, overlooking the Bavarian Obersalzberg.
I go the way that Providence dictates with the assurance of a sleepwalker.
We know today the crimes for which this man was responsible, but what do we really know of his private life? At that time, Hitler was a myth to the German people, unreal, remote. He has a fixation about becoming ill. He does not drink or smoke. He is a vegetarian, but he likes cream cakes and sweets. When he relaxes, he likes to have played an old German children's tune. He does not know that the world knows it too. He works either feverishly all through the night, or he doesn't work at all. He either broods or talks for hours without stop. Here he is receiving a visit from the British Legion. He does not keep appointments at the right time and always leaves suddenly in a fast car. He likes being driven fast. Only Himmler knows always where he is to be found. He likes big rooms and thick carpets. His education was small, and now he reads mainly books about war and military matters. He is a man without real home or family. Marriage might shatter the halo of a lone Führer whose only love must be for his people. He does not marry until the day of his eventual suicide. Here, too, lives Eva Braun, who once worked in the shop of Hitler's personal photographer, Hoffmann. 20 years younger than the Führer, she has succeeded Adolf's first, and some say only, love, Geli Raubal, of whom he was fiercely jealous. She committed suicide in Hitler's flat in Munich in 1931. Destiny, says Hitler, has chosen him to create a strong and happy German people. Old party members visit their Führer at the Berghof, but none of them is on really familiar terms with him. Here is Goebbels, von Ribbentrop, foreign minister. Right Himmler, in the middle Heydrich, his amiable helper, in the center Speer, then Hitler's architect. Martin Bormann, said by some to be still alive. Hitler and Goebbels know the publicity value of the Führer's sentimental fondness for animals and for children. He is photographed with them as often as possible. He likes, too, to be thought of as a man of the people, but the SS guards are never far away. Of this man, who was to be the most photographed in the world, we have no films of his youth in Austria, where he was born in 1889. But we have all seen the familiar photographs of him as a baby, and of his father, a customs official with whom he quarreled. Of his mother, whom he is said to have loved. He came partly from peasant or farm workers' stock, His grandfather was not known, but his family was never poor. At school, young Adolf was not exactly bright. He did not do well. After his father's death, Adolf in 1907 went to Vienna, but was rejected by the Academy of Arts for lack of talent. But he liked to call himself an artist. These sketches for advertisements, believed to have been made when he was 22, reveal how good his art was. In later years, always believing himself to be an artist, Hitler is to dictate to the German people just what kind of art they must admire. His choice must be their choice. He helps to design the House of German Art in Munich. He makes the choice himself of what paintings and sculpture shall be exhibited. The work of all modern imaginative artists is denounced as being degenerate.
The Führer is always right.
From his first days in Vienna, Hitler has worshipped the music of Wagner. As Führer, he is often welcomed to Bayreuth by Winifred Wagner, the composer's daughter-in-law. He claims to have seen Götterdämmerung over 100 times. Hitler was attracted in his youth to the heroic twilight of German mythology through the works of a crank philosopher, Lanz von Liebenfels. Later, his phony racialist, Rosenberg, is to transform this cult into the Nazi concept of a Germanic master race, a barbaric, legendary world, bedeviled by treachery and violence, the bloodbath of the Götterdämmerung, Valhalla going up in flames. Hitler himself said,
"We are barbarians. We want to be barbarians. It is an honorable title."
Hitler knows how deeply rooted in the German tradition is this cult of the Nordic and Teutonic pagan myth world, this morbid love for the void of dark thoughts. Cunningly, he sees how it can be used. From the blood-stained twilight world of Valhalla, it is but a short step to the parades and rallies of the Nazis. The glorification of Germany's traditional strength, always encouraged because it suited those in power, this too is twisted by Hitler to fit his purpose. This worship of uniforms, this hypnotism of men behaving like machines, these have been rooted in German life for many generations. These too Hitler is to use. The goose step turns the human being into a soulless fighting machine which does not ask questions but blindly obeys the orders of the leader. Hitler himself said,
"It is the army which has made men of us all. And when we look upon the army, our faith in the future of our people is always reinforced."
He sees himself as following in the steps of those men who had built Germany into an aggressive nation, Frederick the Great and Bismarck. Not one of the Nazi leaders are men of original thought or ideas. They have simply seized on old ideas and beliefs which have their roots in German history and twisted them to fit the Nazi ideology.
Struggle is the father of all things. Virtue lies in blood. Leadership is fundamental and decisive.
What is new is Hitler's skillful use of modern techniques for putting across his concept of state and people without respect for the individual.
With us, the leader and the idea are one, and every party leader must do what the leader orders.
Mammoth rallies are staged for the masses, like this one every year at Nuremberg. They are filmed and photographed so that the rest of the world may see. And many foreign visitors are deeply impressed. What they do not see, behind the marching and spectacle and music, is the terror of the SS and the Gestapo, the ever-present fear of the concentration camps with their torture and murder with most horrible cruelty. These are not on view. In other countries, Hitler has his imitators. There are always those who mistakenly believe that the Nazis and fascists are a bulwark against communism and socialism. In Britain, Mosley has set up his black shirts and for a time gets serious backing. In the United States, Fritz Kuhn sets up the American Bund, always the same use of violence. In France, there is the Croix de Feu. In Belgium, de Grelle and his Rexist follow the same fascist pattern. The cult of violence can threaten to take root and flourish in any country at any time. What is this Nazi state in which men exist to serve the state and not the state to serve men? The opposite of democracy. First, there must be totality of the whole nation before there can be a total war. Nazism is injected into the universities and schools, into the churches, into the courts of law, into culture and the arts, into agriculture and industry. The Nazi state reaches from the cradle to the grave. Woman's place is in the kitchen and the nursery. But this concept of total domination of a people is perhaps best summed up by a Nazi propaganda film of the time.
We are educating our youth into a healthy outlook on life. With clear fundamentals, the young people are being prepared for living. Sport steels the body. Comradeship gives them the feeling for the folk community. So they become the future of the people. Our youth knows its goal, its great responsibility towards the future generations. No longer by accident, but consciously will the healthy find other healthy ones for a happy and good choice of a marriage partner. Give of your best to your people, then you will belong to the best of all people.
Dann werdet ihr zum besten Volke gehören.
That is Hitler's Germany, now for Hitler and the world. May the 17th, 1933. He proclaims that Germany only desires peace.
The start of a war would be madness without end. It can only lead to the collapse of the present order of society. Germany needs peace.
5 months later, Germany walks out of the League of Nations. He signs a non-aggression pact with Poland. A naval treaty is also signed with Britain, which opens up the way for a strong German navy. Next, Hitler risks bringing in compulsory military service, thus flouting the Treaty of Versailles.
Adolf Hitler, der oberste Befehlshaber der Wehrmacht, hat unser deutsches Vaterland
March 1936. German troops move into the Rhineland. We know today that if the French had shown any fight at all, the Germans would have at once withdrawn. That same year, the Olympic Games are due to be held in Berlin. So the Nazis turn them into a massive propaganda display. Thousands of visitors come from overseas,